Hello my dear friends, I'm Kirill, and today on my table you can see real giant LEGO Technic flagship 2023 Liebherr crane. This is 18 plus set, very expensive set, and I had pretty high expectations, but this set has some serious problems. 18 plus set it must contain a lot of interesting information in the instruction book and so on, but here we even have no information who has designed this set. Nothing about designer, nothing about designer's team maybe, like we see usually in 18 plus set in instruction book, but here we have no information, nothing at all. The box is big and really heavy, but you know that only counterweight weighs about 1 kilogram. Liebherr LR 13,000, almost 3,000 pieces. Batteries not included. Yes, you need 12 AA batteries or AA accumulators to power this model. We can see Control Plus components, 6 large motors. I remember these pieces were named large angular motors or motors number 15. Now we have the third name for the same part, I don't know why. Dimensions 1 meter high and more than 1 meter long, but the boom can be raised even higher as far as I know, and 2 Bluetooth smart hubs. On the back of the box we can see that different functions can be controlled via smartphone and LEGO Technic Control Plus application, and very cool picture of boom, police paths and big frames or trusses. The large main box contains 5 smaller boxes. It's very funny. Here we have cardboard with instructions and smaller boxes with pieces, frames and trusses, more frames, more trusses, Control Plus elements, counterweights, and the crane is in this box, I suppose. Building instruction is divided into 2 books. Also here we have pretty big sticker sheet with big stickers, and in the beginning of the first part we have a few additional pages with information, nothing interesting here, just the photos of LEGO model. Also very short introduction without any interesting information, just dimensions of LEGO model. We've already seen them on a box. Here we have that it's not 6 large motors but 6 XL angular motors, and a few pictures of crane, but it's not LR 13,000 I believe, because it's smaller cranes. LR 13,000 has very distinguishing construction of boom, and all these cranes are much smaller, I think. So it's the first page with text and nothing interesting here. Then we have a page about LR 13,000 and a few facts about its dimensions and lifting capacity. Maximum height 236 meters. Here you can see this interesting shape of the main boom. Photo of the real crane and LEGO model. Nothing similar here. It's absolutely 2 different cranes. The only common thing is that both of these cranes are mounted on a Caterpillar chassis. Both cranes have tracks, but it's absolutely different models. 1 page about application, 1 page about hub update. So you cannot just turn it on and play. You must update firmware, you must insert batteries. If you have no screwdriver, it could be a problem. And that's all. So regarding the interesting information, here we have absolutely nothing. Nothing from the designer, nothing about design process. All these facts can be found in a few seconds in internet. Nothing special here, and also nothing interesting here. This part of instruction is absolutely frustrating for me for such an unique set. Let's take a quick look to these beautiful boxes. Here we have a lot of trusses in dark bluish gray and also a lot of 3x19 frames in yellow and also in dark bluish gray for the first time for both colors. The next one contains a lot of frames, 7x11 and bigger one, and also curved gear racks in yellow and in black color. Big shock absorbers like in new 1:5 scale motorcycles, a lot of links and strings. And more frames coming, not frames but trusses. Here we have trusses in 2 dimensions and a lot of each type. And the last small box contains electronic components, 6 Control Plus motors, 2 Control Plus hubs and elements for counterweight. To start the building process, we must open first bags and also take some pieces from boxes. 1 motor, 1 big frame, all curved gear racks, 12 in yellow and 4 in black color, 6 yellow frames, 3x19, the first of 3 large turntables, some gears, these useful pieces, 9 frames in black, 5x7, but in this set there are 14 of this type in black and also 4 in light bluish gray and a lot of other pieces, so at the end of this step we will have quite a big structure. This huge structure is the center of our crane. Here you can see the motors that will rotate the superstructure, reducer, the first stage 12 to 20, then 8 to 24, and here it will be one more stage 20 to 28 and to the outer ring or to the central turntable, I don't know yet. And here we can see a structure very similar to the turntable of big crane 42082 as far as I remember, but geometry is a bit adjusted, but it's almost the same mechanism. The turntable of this ring is reinforced and now it has 2 layers, so it's quite strong structure now, and the bottom part also has 2 layers. After the first step we have this huge structure. It uses a lot of these big frames. Here 4 frames to make a stable support. Here these frames are placed horizontally, and the turntable, 16 tooth turntable, is used to make a stable rotation point because these rings have some backlash, but motor powers these gears, not the turntable in the center, but here you can see 28 tooth gear, and it's connected to the ring and via reducer to the motor. The second step contains a lot of pieces, even if we don't count these track links. This set contains 150 links for tracks. It's 5-stud white tracks, and these tracks are not the same like in first Technic sets when this piece were introduced more than 10 years ago, more than 15 years ago. These tracks are created from softer plastic, and it's not good. In some applications it's a disadvantage. Here we have a lot of gears to support tracks, I think, 2 motors and 2 planetary wheel hubs, to power the crane. 13 frames, 3 by 18 in dark bluish gray and in yellow. These pieces are introduced in dark bluish gray also for the first time. 10 dark bluish gray panels of this type, big sprocket wheels for tracks, and also for the first time in dark bluish gray, beams with perpendicular holes, 15 stud long. After the second step we have this huge and heavy construction. It's really enormous. There are a lot of these huge frames here, the first layer, and then it's connected by the second layer of the same 3 by 19 frames. It's really incredible. Just take a look how long will be caterpillars. Here we have driving motors, 2 motors mounted horizontally, the first reducer, 2 stages, and the final reducer inside the planetary gear. It looks absolutely amazing. The third step contains not so many pieces, but here we have something interesting. For example, this gear rack with gear rack holder in sand blue, 2 big turntables, 2 this not ball joints but ball supports or something like this, 2 white balls, a lot of beams with perpendicular holes, 15 stud long in black this time. And also we need for this step 3 motors, the second Bluetooth hub, 2 large frames, 10 7 by 11 frames, and 14 more frames 3 by 19 in yellow color. In total in this set there are 26 pieces of this type and 7 more in dark bluish gray, so in total 33 frames of this type in this set. The model is getting bigger and bigger. On the one hand, it's cool. We have so big model, maybe the biggest model in LEGO Technic, but you can see that it's absolutely empty inside, and I suspect that it will remain without any additional pieces in the center part, and it looks like Duplo, only big, very big pieces like frames here, transversal frames. Looks not so complex, not so interesting like many other mechanisms in smaller sets. At the first step we have a lot of pieces, and here we have absolutely new pieces, these drums, 4-string. It fits perfectly, for example, this frame. Also here we have red frames, 5 by 7, these thin beams, 6 stud long, quite rare piece. And for this step we need all these trusses. We've already seen these pieces in Skidder 42157, I think, but in black color. Here we have 16 pieces, 16 trusses, and also 20 new trusses, 7 stud by 15 stud. Very specific piece, but with a lot of mounting points, 4 XL mounting points in the corners, and also a lot of points for Technic pins. And a bit smaller version, also 15 stud long, but a bit narrow, 5 stud wide. And the shape is even more complex by comparison to the bigger one. Also here we have 2 large shock absorbers from motorcycles, and they have found a way to use these huge pieces, and of course in huge model. 24 links and 2 strings, 2 meter long and 3.5 meter long, but we will see even longer string at the next step. At the fifth step we have a lot of big panels in yellow, 3 by 11, 5 by 11, 3 by 7, and also panels of this shape, light bluish gray beams with perpendicular holes, one small turntable, 4 by 4 tiles, and completely new pieces in LEGO. This is a new counterweight, stackable counterweight, so you can connect as many as you want, but the problem is that actually you cannot connect it to your LEGO model or LEGO Technic model because it has absolutely no connection points, no system studs, no holes for Technic pins, and it's absolutely frustrating decision. I don't know who has made this decision because yeah, it's new exclusive part for huge exclusive set, and why this Technic part has no connections for Technic pins. And moreover, in the past we had this system piece. I don't have it now, but it's piece of the same size. It weighs 53 grams, heavy brick, available in black and red color, very useful and compact piece, used in many ships and as a counterweight in some Technic sets, and also it can be found in some education sets. And I expected that it will be about the same volume, something like 5 by 7 frame without hole, of course, with the same weight, about 50 grams, and for example with 4 connections for Technic pins. It was my expectation. But instead of it we have this huge plate, 7 by 11. It weighs less than old system weight brick. It weighs only about 40 grams instead of 53, and it's absolutely terrible to my mind. It's awful decision. I don't know who decided to create this silly piece. If you are looking for detailed exteriors, this set is not for you. Just panels with some strange pins, system pieces connected in a strange way, I can say. These tiles all must be covered by stickers, but in this scale it must be done by pieces, like for example in Liebherr excavator, which contained a lot of small system grills, and the same can be done or must be done here. Oh, okay, we have operator's cabin, it's cool, and the same on the opposite side, nothing, just yellow panels. And counterweight has no fix, no mounting points, of course. Strange decision to my mind. But what I really like, it's a hook. It consists of a lot of pieces and has additional degree of freedom. The hook is quite nice to my mind. This is a real challenge to film this model actually, but I will try. There are not so many functions here, but it has everything what is needed to operate. The velocity is okay, I think. Both tracks are controlled separately. And now we have a bug in application because I don't touch controls for some time and it just freezes or something like this. It doesn't respond to my actions. I can try some joysticks and nothing happens. Okay, the second attempt. I can rotate the superstructure. And also the boom has 2 degrees of freedom. we can control two sections separately, but application has one joystick for these two functions, and sometimes it's not so convenient. You can see that the boom has quite big range, maybe too big, but it's good for playing process. Police paths work very well, and now you can see that it has really very big height. I think this is the biggest, but it's out of frame of my camera. And the last function is hook. It also has police path 2 to 1, and we can try to lift something. This small box is not a problem for this crane, and now we can rotate the superstructure and do everything what we want. The wall. Rotation function maybe works too fast. I think it could be a bit slower, but it's not a problem in general. So it's quite playable model, but as you just saw, I had some strange problem with application, but maybe it's a problem of my old smartphone. Also, this model has one additional feature, and actually this feature is very interesting, much more interesting than just driving the crane. This is a load indicator. You can see that this upper Bluetooth hub is not static, and it's connected via this gear rack with the main boom, and when the load increases, then this system tilts the Bluetooth hub, and you can see on my screen that there is a load indicator. Now it's getting red, and if I continue to tilt the crane, now we have a warning that this crane can be unstable. Nice feature. Here is the angular sensor. It's implemented in software, but also we have this linkage system, and I think it's a really nice addition, maybe the most interesting function in this model. And it's time to summarize my review. First of all, the crane itself is quite nice toy. It's really big, and it impressed me a lot because it's a really huge model, the biggest model in LEGO Technic so far. It's really cool, and it works nice as a toy because it's a crane, it's a very playable model, and all the functions of crane are realized here, and all these functions work really good. Regarding the pieces, this is very specific set. It contains a lot of pieces, almost 3000, but most of these pieces are really huge. These trusses, all frames, panels, really almost no connectors because they use frames with perpendicular holes as connectors here. And yeah, actually, if you don't need all these huge frames and trusses, then maybe it's really a bad choice of pieces for creating of your own models. And of course, we must remember about the price. The official price is almost 700 euro, and if you don't need all these big pieces, then it's really not a good choice. But in general, I can say that the price, this set is very overpriced. I think it must cost much less, actually. Yeah, nothing for 700 euros here, especially for 18 plus set. I cannot say that the level of details is low. It's really zero if we consider the price and that this is 18 plus set. It looks really awful, to be honest, and there is no reason to create it as big as we have, because for example the superstructure, it's empty, completely empty inside. It's just a set of huge frames, and there is no reason to do it it's possible to create this model with all the same functions much smaller. And also this crane doesn't look like real LR13000, it looks like much smaller models, and it's not bad. Just remove this name from the box, you can place another model, smaller Liebherr crane. There are many different versions on the market and it can be a really nice model, but they have chosen the biggest one, but it looks completely different. And regarding the functions and mechanisms, probably the most interesting mechanism is this feature of load indication. In the superstructure, 3 motors are just connected to the cables without any gears, so upper structure has 0 gears, no gears at all. Just a few gears between motor and planetary hub in the chassis, and a few gears between motor and this rotating big turntable in the center of the model, and that's all. Police paths are really nice, they work well, but in general this crane is very simple. It's similar to Liebherr excavator, where we also had 1 motor per function, 1 motor per actuator, 1 motor per track, also for turntable. This model is more like that excavator, no like Caterpillar dozer with some gearbox, or Volvo hauler also with gearbox. All the mechanisms and transmission of the set is really simple. And as a final word, I can say that this crane is good toy, but it's not an 18+ set, and it's not a Liebherr LR13000, and it's not a set that worth 700 euro. So, thanks for watching, share your thoughts about this set below the video, and see you next time. Bye!